and welcome
Hi.
to the Healing Space podcast. Today we have with us Joey Torre.
What's
Woo!
good? What's good, beautiful people? Thank you for having me on Healing Space. It's an honor.
We're honored to have you, and you have something really cool to talk about. I'm really excited for this episode, and honestly, Cara and I are kind of just gonna sit back and let you tell us about your journey. So, Cara, you wanna give them the question?
The question. You let us know that you wanted to talk about your therapy journey.
Right, the therapy. So therapy's been going well, even though it's only been a few sessions. I actually have an appointment tomorrow, but I've been seeing a lot of improvement, and I just strongly encourage anyone who's been thinking about, attending or seeking a therapist to go for it, because I know some people won't find the right fit when it comes to a therapist right away, and that might be a journey, but the improvement that I seen early on, I can strongly encourage other people to do it, because there's so much stuff that I didn't realize I kept buried. And after going to therapy, it's starting to come to the surface again, and now I'm just kind of reliving those emotions, but just embracing them, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and just knowing how to better handle those emotions.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
what led up to you seeking out therapy? What was kind of that final decision maker for you?
The decision maker to go and see a therapist was the fact that, we do a lot of advocacy, and I speak about mental health and men's well-being. So a big part of it was to be that person, practice what I preach.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And set an example for the men, because we're fighting the stigma that, men, they can't speak about their insecurities, and it's difficult. It's still challenging for me sometimes too. I'm not perfect, but I'm a lot better than what I was a few years ago.
Yeah.
So the thing that led me up to that was just healing. Simply put, I just want to heal from the stuff that I kept buried, that I didn't realize I kept buried, and being on the path of becoming the best version of me. So I can't become the best version of myself without addressing what needs to be addressed from a mental standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're taking care of our physical, right? Living with HS, taking medication, trying to watch what you eat. So that's one component. And the other component is, the mental well-being. And I said to myself, I need to seek somebody that I can confide in and talk to. As a man, sometimes you need that mentorship, and I feel like I don't have that mentorship. I'm not seeking constant validation from therapy, but if I'm right, let me know. But if I need to correct something, I want to be known. I want to know that too. And that's another reason that just bring me to, seek therapy. And I've been seeing improvement, and I'm just so glad that it happened. I wish I started it sooner.
I am just so incredibly proud of you, because going to therapy for anyone is hard, right? I always say that the hardest part of therapy is getting there. And then add in that you're a male and the stigma that comes with men going to therapy and taking care of themselves in that way. And you also are a chronic illness. There's so many things going against it, but you are no, I want to do this. I want my followers and my audience and my community to see me do this, so then they do it. And I think that that's so cool. The therapist in me is go little rock star.
Yeah, thank you. It's been it's early on in the journey, but I've seen some improvement, and I know it doesn't always happen right away. So that's what I want to tell the audience too. If you're thinking about going to therapy and you may feel like that therapist isn't the right fit for you, just keep trying. Just don't throw in the towel right away, because sometimes you might have to find that right fit in order to feel comfortable with that person, in order to, open up and talk about your struggles.
Before we dive back into today's conversation, I want to take a moment to thank UCB Pharmaceuticals for making the Healing Space podcast possible. At UCB, they believe in looking beyond the symptoms and seeing the whole person. They understand that living with hidradenitis suppurativa means more than managing physical health. It's about supporting mental health too. Their commitment to our community, to innovation, advocacy, and compassion is what makes partnerships like this so meaningful. We're so grateful to have UCB standing beside us, helping us create a space where healing is more than a goal. It's a journey we take together. Now, let's get back to the conversation. I can imagine that going for the first time is super anxiety provoking, the build up to it. So I'm wondering, how did you deal with that? What was it like opening up and being vulnerable, with a stranger essentially? And how did you get through it? What was it like?
Right. It was easier for me because, like I was saying, we've been doing this advocacy. We've been doing advocacy for a long time, and that definitely put me in a more comfortable position about speaking about my emotions. So if I never did the advocacy, I definitely feel like I would have been looking back on the Joe that I was prior to doing advocacy, I would have never made it there. So advocacy definitely helped me feel a lot more comfortable talking about things that make me feel uncomfortable. And it felt like a sense of relief when I finally sat there and just, let him know what was going on, because now I can go to somebody and just feel like I can go to someone and feel like I'm being heard, and if they need to guide me, they can guide me, or if they tell me I'm doing something correct, I kind of need that validation, but I also need somebody to give me that guidance. So yeah, basically it just made me feel like a big sense of relief, and there was always something in the back of my mind, as far as do I have depression and anxiety? So I wanted answers to that, because depression and anxiety run in my family. So that's always been on my mind. And when I went to therapy, I did find out, I do live with depression and anxiety. So that was kind of another huge sense of relief.
Getting
like
answers.
I said, I always had it in the back of my mind, but now I know it's there, and it's something that I can continue to work on.
Absolutely.
And I don't think I would never discover that I actually live with, those conditions if I never would have made those steps of going to therapy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it provided relief in that you had a name for these things and a reason that you were feeling this way, right? It has a name, kind of like with HS. When you found out what HS is and then it has a name, immediately, just sense of relief. So you have a male therapist, I heard you say.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you try any others before this therapist, or is this your first?
Oh yeah, he's the second therapist.
The second one?
And it's still early on. I mean, I feel good with him, but I'm still not sold on the decision that this is the right fit. But from the sessions that we did have, it felt good. So I'm still kind of feeling it out. But prior to me and him, I did have a couple sessions with another gentleman online, but the reason that didn't work out is because of it was just too expensive. I think it was through Headspace, and it was $100 a session, even with my insurance. So I'm like, if this is going to be a weekly thing, I can't afford that right now.
Right. Yeah.
So I just went to my primary care. He gave me a referral for someone that's in the same clinic as him, and it was more affordable to go to the referral that my primary care had referred. So yes, he's the second person that I tried out.
Okay.
Is this person virtual too, or are you able to see this person in person?
that can be an option. Virtual, I can call in, but I like actually physically going to see him.
Yeah.
You know, he's probably like less than a mile away, so just jump in the car, ride right over there. Because I feel like it adds a better element to me actually getting out of the house and being in a different environment versus doing everything virtually.
Absolutely.
But I also want that element of virtual because there's going to be some days that I don't have it in me to get out the house, and knowing that I can just get on FaceTime or phone call with him and have that service being provided is a great thing as well.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so a lot of our listeners are not going to know kind of what does a therapy office look like? Like when they walk in, what do they expect? Is it like a bunch of weird like incense and stuff all around? What's the vibe? Like tell the fellas what they're walking into.
His office was giving cozy, relaxing.
Giving cozy.
Some dim lighting.
Some dim lighting. You got to set the mood.
Definitely comfortable setting.
Okay. Yeah, and
felt welcoming.
Absolutely.
Welcoming and
it didn't feel like a clinical setting. It definitely felt like a space, like almost kind of like a cozy living room.
Yeah, that's how it really should be, because we want you to feel like you can sit down and just have a conversation, and you can't do that if you're uncomfortable, especially with HS, right? So I just personally recommend, fellas, before you find a place, I go online, I look at the furniture, I'm like, I could sit on that for an hour comfortably. So check it out beforehand.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then I wanted to ask what your thoughts are on like men working with female therapists.
I think that's a good insight. It's all basically based on the person's preference. Sometimes you can get a lot more valuable insight as a man speaking to a woman if there's some topics you want to speak about, and relationship status, you know. So it's really based on the person and who they feel comfortable speaking with. Like, I would feel comfortable speaking with a woman, it wouldn't bother me. But, you know, some guys, you know, they want to just have that one-on-one man, bro-on-bro time. So it just basically depends on that person's preference.
Especially with HS, I feel like it would be more comfortable to talk to a man if you're talking about the pain that you're experiencing in, you know, areas that only, you know, a man can relate to. And while you don't have to relate to your therapist, it helps, and some people like that. So it is really all about your preference. So I love that you're like, I'm not sure if it's a good fit yet, and you haven't said, you know, I went to one session, this is my therapist now. I love that you're doing that, and I love that you're going to continue doing that. That's amazing.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's about finding the right
thank you.
fit.
I strongly encourage the audience, like, fill it out. Don't give up right away. You know, it might not be a right fit right away. You might have to go through, you know, 2 or 3 therapists, but stick it out, because I can see improvement in the short few sessions that I've had already. I've already seen improvement, and I'm actually looking forward to tomorrow's session. Like, last week I had to reschedule because I've been working so much, and I had reached out to him. It's like, don't worry about it. Like, you know, you gotta do what you gotta do. But I was really like, man, I could not go to work and go to therapy. That's how I was really feeling. So that's why I'm just looking forward to this week.
The sad reality, though, is that in a different country, in a different place, there would be those mental health days built in specifically for that reason, right? Like, my brain, no worky today. I no worky. I'm going to go to therapy. But that's not the reality. And I love that you just demonstrated that literally happened to you last week. And then add on to that, being a man. So I know that you are involved with like HS Connect, and more specifically, I've been seeing rumblings about some kind of brotherhood. What is that about? And how does it relate to mental health?
Right. So the brotherhood is basically a safe space for guys living with HS. Guys only. It's a virtual meeting that we have once a month, and we have a great team of medical providers on the Zoom call with us to help answer any questions some of the fellas may have in relating to their HS. But most importantly, it's just a safe space for the guys, and this is something that I've been wanting to do for a long time. And HS Connect, Brinley, and Kofis, they helped me bring it to life. I'm just so proud of it because we've had our first virtual meeting last month, and I was just blown away by the amount of guys that showed up and actually participated.
That's amazing.
Because prior to getting it off the ground and just starting promoting it, I'm like, knowing how guys are, I'm like, I hope this doesn't mess with me. Fast forward to our first meeting, I was blown away by the amount of people that showed up and actually participated. And I've learned so many things in that first meeting alone, but one thing that I've learned, the most important thing that I've learned is how necessary this space is for the guys. And they've just all been echoing the same thing, saying, thanks for bringing this to life, because there's nothing out there. It was such a huge unmet need for the community.
Yeah.
And I'm just so glad we were able to bring that dream into fruition and create a space for the guys, because a lot of times guys can feel neglected and feel, like they, much like I had, that sweep it underneath the rug mentality. Like, who really cares? And I just wanted to show the bros in the community that we care, and there's a safe space here for you. I'm super excited about the Brotherhood. First meeting was a huge success. We have our second meeting March 18th. If there's any guys interested in joining the Brotherhood, you can follow me on Instagram, Torre718, and then I'll have the registration link in the bio, or you can DM me privately, and I can send that link to you privately and make you guys a part of the Brotherhood.
Seriously, if you are even considering it, just go. Just see what it's like. You don't have to talk. You can just sit there, right, and listen and learn and feel it out first, because I'm sure it's intimidating. And Joey just said there's a lot of guys that were there. So, which, again, the fact that so many showed up shows how much of a need it really was. And I think it's only going to continue to grow. So get in that. They have really cool merch. So that's just a fun bonus. And you get to meet Joey, who is obviously incredible. And honestly, it's a great opportunity to meet fellow guys struggling with the same things that.
Right. And also to add on to that, how the Brotherhood relates to mental health, it just creates a safe environment for the guys. A lot of the time, guys are not the best at being expressive, and there's not many locations that a guy can openly speak about his struggles. Like, for me, I would say, one of the safest places for me to speak about something that I'm dealing with prior to therapy was the barbershop. So the Brotherhood creates that barbershop element of this is a safe space. You can talk about what you want to talk about and actually have someone who can relate to your struggles. Prior to therapy, I used to, even to this day, I still talk to my father about a lot of things. And he's just there to listen, but he can't relate. And that's not his fault, because he don't know what it is living with HS. But we just want to create that safe space for the guys. So please come, join. I think it'll do tremendous benefit to their well-being.
Yeah.
And like you were saying, Katelyn, you don't even have to speak right away. Just feel comfortable, and you just can just take in the information and just feel like there's a place out there for you that you can go to when you want to speak about your HS.
Yeah, I love that. I think it is super cool.
Very cool. I like it.
Yeah. I also I just think that talking about mental health for men, and especially in this disorder, is so extremely important. We have an incredibly high rate of suicidality, and we know that men are more successful at suicide than women. Those are just facts and statistics, and you're doing what you can on your platform to fight that. And yeah, I just love it so much, Joey.
Yes.
Thank you. I think the brotherhood also adds to the fact, like, kind of going off of what you're saying, like, we all know HS is so much more than skin deep, that it impacts every aspect of your life, especially, like, mentally. And, like, by creating groups like the brotherhood, maybe this will raise awareness to the doctors and let them know, like, hey, this is so much more than skin deep. Like, patients need these resources,
Yes.
support groups, and, like, so going into it, like, as a newly diagnosed patient, they should be told, like, you're going to need some mental health resources, and, like,
From the
if you're a
get-go.
man, hey,
Yeah.
you good?
Yeah, I said from the get-go. Like,
Oh, from the get-go. Yeah, so, like, yeah, from the get-go, like, hey, this is so much more than a skin disease. You're going to need some, mental health resources, and there's a support group you should consider joining, or, get that patient a referral to a therapist.
yeah.
So I feel like the brotherhood, speaks to mental health awareness.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the healing space is so excited to partner with you and with what you're doing, and whatever we can do to help. So, all right. Well, any last words of advice about therapy for the guys out there, Joe?
Yeah, just simply put, keep going. Don't throw in the towel, and just keep going. Keep your head up. If you need to reach out to me, don't be afraid to shoot me a message on Instagram, and we can take it from there.
That's beautiful.
Love that. Thank you so much, Joey.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, ladies. Always a pleasure being around you guys.
Cool.